According to recent reports, several cities in the U.S. will face financial stress in 2025. The economic issues arise due to debt, decreased tax revenues, and increasing expenditures. Some cities are cutting back on public services, dismissing workers, or seeking government aid. This video will let you look at 10 U.S. cities facing severe financial stress this year. Let's get into it. Number 10, Rhode Island. The smallest state in the U.S. has some serious economic problems in 2025. Even though it has beautiful beaches and a historic past that attract a lot of visitors, the economy of the state is poor. One of the primary reasons is that Rhode Island depends too much on a limited number of industries like healthcare and tourism. If anything goes wrong, such as bad weather or international travel restrictions, it can destroy tourism and result in a loss of income. Healthcare is also not working because it's really costly, and there's stiff competition from other states. Previously, Rhode Island had made its revenues from shipping and farming. As times changed, the economy evolved, but the state didn't grow much into new sectors. Some industries like biomedicine and software are growing, but they aren't advanced enough to replace the established ones that are lost. The state also has some other fiscal issues. It has a huge amount of debt and does not save enough for items such as public employees' pensions. Some laws say that funds should be saved for emergencies like a rainy day fund. But these laws can be ignored, and sometimes the government spends more than it can afford. Political ideology has also blocked efforts to budget for the future or fix long-term issues. Prospect Medical Holdings, a big healthcare firm in the state, has filed for bankruptcy. This adds to an already difficult situation. That has been a serious concern since healthcare is one of Rhode Island's largest employers. If hospitals and clinics are impacted, it would harm the economy along with the people who rely upon them. Number 9, Nevada. This state is almost entirely dependent on tourism and gaming. It is also internationally renowned for casinos, nightclubs, and neon. Being so reliant on one industry makes the state susceptible. When the COVID-19 pandemic arrived, tourism simply dropped off. Nevada unemployment reached as high as it ever had at 64%. Tourism declined by roughly $1.3 billion. To get back to pre-pandemic levels was no cakewalk. It was similar to trying to solve an old problem with a Band-Aid fix. Unemployment is a massive problem as well. It has increased a bit since the pandemic. This makes it difficult for many people to acquire work, and job hunting is exhausting and infuriating. And as an insult to injury, personal bankruptcies are on the rise. Personal bankruptcies received in October 2024 were 16% higher than they were at the same time last year. More Nevadans than ever are further in debt and turning to the system for assistance. Financial stress can be overwhelming and lead to unhealthy conditions for people and businesses in the state, while fantastic visitor facilities have been available from day one. Number 8, Michigan. Michigan is actually in fiscal trouble in 2025. The economy has relied very much on the automotive sector, but being motor makers has long disappeared through the decades. And there was outside competition and technology as well to make things even more complicated, and thus result in job loss as well as undermining the economy. Another real issue is that most people are leaving Michigan. Every family that departs to find more and better paying jobs and opportunities elsewhere diminishes Michigan's size. There are fewer and fewer taxpayers to fund schools, roads, and other public benefits with decreasing revenues. It is a vicious cycle. There is less money with fewer developments, and there are fewer developments with more departures. On top of all that, Michigan's infrastructure is in disrepair. Roads, bridges, and water systems throughout the state need to be repaired. The Flint water crisis showed the world how bad it could become. It will cost billions of dollars to repair the systems, but the state does not have sufficient funds to do it all at once. Number 7, Arkansas. Through the close of the 2022 fiscal year, the state owed a giant debt of approximately $8.35 billion. That does not include the debts local governments owe, which only added another $13.59 billion in obligations. That is plenty higher than $21 billion total, and that does complicate balancing the state budget. Much of this debt comes from the costs of constructing roads, buildings, and the government itself. There is also a fear of bankruptcy. Arkansas possesses one of the country's highest rates of personal bankruptcy. This is not bad luck. It is connected to problems underneath. Most of the state's residents have low incomes. Their average hourly rate of pay is just $14.48, one of the lowest in America. Added to high divorce rates and little work available, many find it hard to pay their bills. When they get fired or receive an enormous medical bill, they generally have no other recourse but to declare bankruptcy. Number 6. Texas. Most of its economy is based on the oil and gas industry, whose prices fluctuate erratically. In April 2020, the price of oil briefly fell below zero, but it didn't significantly impact the economy. Whenever the prices go to that extent, it not only impacts the oil businesses, but also another issue is the growing economic gap across the state. Austin and Dallas are thriving with tech industries and business growth. Rural communities, on the other hand, are experiencing high unemployment and few opportunities. Almost 2 out of every 5 Texans report that they are struggling to pay for food, housing, or medical expenses. This places another strain on social programs and state budgets. Natural disasters are also a gigantic issue in Texas. Hurricanes, floods, and other extreme weather patterns have a tendency to visit the state quite often. To that level, the COVID-19 pandemic caused huge economic losses to businesses and individuals as well. It is costly and time-consuming to bounce back from all of that loss. Number 5. Kentucky. It is thriving and struggling economically. The state GDP is only $212 billion. Manufacturing is the biggest contributor, making up nearly 1/20th of the total economy. That is, factory workers and factories are the state's leading breadwinners. Kentucky has a lot of industrial strength, but many people still live in economic poverty there. Kentucky is also in the top 10 per capita bankruptcy filers, with approximately 345 per 100,000 residents. The number is comparable to more than too many individuals having debt to worry about, typically due to a loss of job or an unexpected bill. Coal mining, the backbone of Kentucky's economy, is now threatened. While still employing individuals, its shift to cleaner fuels and environmental consciousness has put its survival at risk. It can even cause additional job losses in the coming years and additional strain on the local economy. On the plus side, innovation and education are on the go. The University of Kentucky is contributing its research. In 2023, the university translated a $54 million research investment into a $925 million economic return. That's a darn good rate of return on science and technology investment and return on investment. Number 4. West Virginia. West Virginia is famous for its breathtaking mountain scenery and coal mining heritage, but it has been severely affected by economic recession in recent decades. Its long history of dependency on coal and coal mining has turned out to be a weak support, particularly as demand for coal has softened and the regulatory climate has become increasingly unfriendly. This has led to mass-scale mining employment losses in coal communities, with disastrous consequences for local economies and families. Its extreme dependency on coal subjects the state to the consequences of an energy industry collapse. Additionally, West Virginia also ranks extremely high in poverty levels, and most of the families financially struggle with increasing bankruptcy rates. These small financial budgets have been insufficient in keeping most inhabitants from enjoying stability and advancement. Being a predominantly rural state, it also has another dimension. Poor transport infrastructure and scarce job opportunities make diversification of the economy even impossible, and investment highly problematic. There are also pluses. West Virginia is making investments and initiatives to rev up its economy by developing new industries such as tourism, technology, and alternative energy. Having mountains, rivers, and forests as natural resources, it has tremendous outdoor tourism potential that can bring revenue and growth to society. Though the path forward is unclear, the state is at last starting to seek new avenues to a more equitable and sustainable economic future. Number 3. Louisiana. The Louisiana economy has been in shambles, with more regression than advancement. The cause of the problem lies in the Byzantine tax code. It is difficult to enter and invest in this state with confidence. And don't throw into the mix the debt trap of big government. Poverty and inequality are problems too. Almost 19% of the people in Louisiana live in poverty. That puts the state at or near the bottom of the country in income. The income gap is enormous. The top 5% of income earners have 14 times the salary of the lowest 20%. Most families barely manage to get by from day to day. They toil just to eat, have a roof over their heads, and pay for other essentials. Programs such as SNAP, food stamps, are a necessity for hundreds of thousands of individuals. The economy of Alabama has lately improved somewhat, but trails the second half of all U.S. states in overall economic performance. There have been reports that it is going to get even stronger, but it has unprecedented challenges ahead of it. Some of the most urgent concerns include the astronomically high poverty rate that continues to undermine a high percentage of people. There has also been growth in jobs, but the job industry continues to be unstable in that the number of jobs rose while new jobs came in. The housing market sends a muddled message. Home prices are rising modestly, which is good for existing owners, but it is harder for first-time buyers to begin. There is a gargantuan foreclosure pipeline inventory backlog, which is indicative of stress in the economy. Generally somewhat better, Alabama is still plagued with economic inequality, labor market instability, and financial corruption. All these still hinder real recovery both in the housing market and the economy as a whole. Number 2, Miami. Miami is facing a financial crisis primarily due to massive debts related to pensions and healthcare benefits for its public employees. While there has been some positive movement, such as a decrease in pension debt and strong investment returns of nearly 20% in 2021 for the police and firefighters' pension plans, these improvements are not sufficient to offset the overall financial strain. The city's financial problems are compounded by other factors, including high crime rates and the risk of natural disasters, which further strain public resources and deter investment. Miami's combination of significant unfunded liabilities, taxpayer burden, and additional socioeconomic challenges places it among the U.S. cities most at risk of financial collapse in 2025. Number 1, Mississippi. Mississippi continues to have severe economic issues in 2025. GDP growth is sluggish, remaining mostly at the lowest of all the states in America. The largest issue is poverty. About 19.6% of the population is living below the poverty line. It is one of the poorest states in the country. Most families are barely able to pay for even the basics of food, shelter, and medical care. There are not many jobs. In Mississippi, the unemployment rate is higher than in much of the country. Most available jobs pay very low wages. Most individuals have jobs with little security and little chance of promotion. It's a game with more players than there are spots. Some get left behind even though they do their best. The state also has an older population. There are more than 65 years old. This increases the dependency ratio. There are fewer working adults to look after more children and elderly people. This is a heavy burden on working adults and public services. Education and infrastructure are two other problems. Mississippi has education problems. This is because of low-quality schools and not finishing higher education. Without good schools and training, it is hard to have an educated workforce. This discourages potential business investment and expansion. Poor infrastructure slows down the expansion of businesses and the delivery of services to individuals. Mississippi has economic issues because of high poverty levels, few employment opportunities, an aging population, and underfinanced schools. These issues slow the state's development and can lead to bankruptcy if extreme measures are not taken. Can all see most states in America are also financially strained in 2025, with increasing debt, poverty, unemployment, and poor infrastructure, which is pushing them into an economic downturn. So what do you think? Do you reside in one of those states, or have you felt the impact firsthand? Leave your comments below. Let's start the discussion. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos on the economy and its impact on you.